Every week, I have a conversation with a prominent Black cannabis executive that I think is creating positive impact in the culture and, more importantly, creating an inroad for more of us to come into the space. The gentleman I have with me today needs no introduction. NBA Hall of Famer, five-time All-Star, five-time NBA, All-NBA, and someone who I really respected, looked up to as a child, and just for their innovative basketball skills and their ability to just really stretch the idea of what we thought a basketball player is supposed to do at his position in that era. Now doing the same thing as a Black cannabis executive. Mr. Chris Webber, bro, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. Shout out to you and Digital Ventures too, man. Really
Man,
love that you're doing your thing.
man, I appreciate that, bro. So jumping straight into it, man, you know, your past in the NBA needs no mentioning, right? But what kind of galvanized you to jump into the cannabis space with all you've accomplished and how you've built your brand, and what made you want to apply that to the cannabis space?
Well, first, I believe in the healing properties of cannabis. So not just the rec side of it, but I believe that now that we quit demonizing cannabis and demonizing the people that use it or sell it, I believe we're going to find out a lot more about the healing properties. How it affects sleep management, pain management, swelling, inflammation, how it affects mood management. So I'm excited that the people will have a choice of a non-addictive medicine, especially for those that it's hard to find access to specific medicines. Secondly, in this business, because I play basketball, I was, blessed to, make great relationships. But sometimes I'm the only one in the room. Not sometimes, 99.9% of the time, I'm the only one in the room, especially in the cannabis space that looks like myself. And so my partner, Jason Wild, who's a wonderful gentleman and a great businessman, we've come together to start an impact fund, and it's to make sure that we give access to entrepreneurs. It's to make sure that those that don't want to be entrepreneurs, that want to be involved in the cannabis business, that we give training and job placement to them as well. So I'm just excited to be part of it and hopefully put more people in the room, men and women, that look like myself.
I can definitely concur with you, my brother. Being in the space for almost 4 years now, it's been too often where I've had to explain, our position with the plant to people who are supposed to be leaders of the space, who for one reason or another are tone deaf to the Black experience in cannabis, whether purposefully or just out of just them not being around us enough. But you grew up in Michigan, and I always tell people that Black people's relationship with cannabis is the most transparent view of our position in America, right? In the sense of, like, we grew up, it was built on the back of us. It created a prison pipeline, and we all have experiences, friends and family members who
Yes.
were criminalized or had their life rerouted because of cannabis. Did you have any of those experiences as a kid growing up where you kind of saw how dangerous it could be to even be around the plant?
The unique part I think that I try to explain to a lot of my colleagues is that it doesn't matter who you are. If you're famous and you're Black, yes, you're given a pass in a lot of certain ways. But if you're not recognized, you'll learn soon, very quick, that how they treat you because of how you look. And when you think about the 80s and how drugs, cocaine, crack specifically, was put into our neighborhoods, you think about the different sentences of time that they gave to those individuals that were poor because of crack. It's just the difference in how you make crack and what powder cocaine is, because white people use powder. So yeah, I'm from Detroit. I saw, what the so-called drug war did. Not only did it send people away, it broke families. It broke family values, it broke family structure. How many kids did it give PTSD because your father wasn't home and you never seen him? What type of mental health issues did it cause people in our neighborhood from not being able to be around parents when those in the same, and those in richer neighborhoods get away with it? If you want to know a little bit of context of what I'm talking about, and I feel bad for anyone that's been affected by the drug war, but just look at the different narratives when we talk about crack or when we talk about opioids. Opioids is the saddest story in the world, and crack, you're just left to yourself. And so, yeah, I'm part of that. I'm part of Detroit, where they demonize people, where they've broken up lives, where we've been affected. And you think about the unfair laws that were targeted at these communities, and now that we have this industry, you're not going to let these same individuals in there. So no, that's why we're also working to expunge records, not only so you can get a job in the industry, but so that you can get a job in any other industry. So hopefully we can help be a small part to help and heal and repair our communities that's been targeted by some unfair laws.
I agree 100%. It's funny because I saw a report last week on Market Watch how cannabis is the fastest growing industry in America. It grew 32% from last May to this May, but also thousands of Black people are still arrested every day in cannabis simultaneously, right? Even though it's legal in some form in 37 states, it's a Black person right now being arrested for cannabis possession somewhere as we speak,
For a joint.
which is outrageous, right? But I wanted to kind of get into, your upbringing after your childhood, because you went to college in Michigan, then you were drafted to Oakland. Was there like a shift in how you saw cannabis culture coming from the Midwest to where you got out to like the mecca of cannabis? Did that kind of change your view on it?
But very honestly, when I was in Michigan, I really didn't know much about cannabis or anything like that. But when you go to California, you're definitely introduced to a culture. And I call Oakland the West Coast Detroit. I love it. I love the people there. It's beautiful. But they're also the underdogs of the community. If you could just look at the bridge and you could tell, And so I love the people there. And yeah, I was introduced to those communities, and I'm still working in those communities to open up dispensaries, to make sure that we bring Cookies U there. That's in Humboldt County. We're covering the Oakland area. So yeah, I was introduced. Well, not going to say introduced, but I was introduced to the California culture in Oakland. That's why I love and respect that place. I've lived there, over 4 or 5 years in my life, and so I really had a great time there. But yeah, it definitely is a difference in the California culture and Michigan culture. And with our company, Players Only, it's a branded company that we represent athletes and entertainers, that type of thing. We're making sure that our cultivators from California are the ones that help enter the market in Michigan, because it's so funny. I believe that the markets in Michigan, I believe Midwest markets, I believe we're being taken for granted because maybe we don't have the palette of those in California. So they'll just sell anything in Michigan and put a price tag on it because, here, this is your only option. And hopefully I can make sure that we educate people on the healing principles of cannabis, but also make sure that they have access to the best and aren't just getting, treated any type of way because they aren't from the West Coast.
Right, of course. You made huge headlines over the past few months for 2 initiatives I want to talk about: the fund that you put together, and then also Cookies U. You coming into the space and really actively wanted to deploy capital into Black and brown entrepreneurs. What did you kind of learn during that process? Because like when you come into a new industry and you're trying to identify great investment opportunities, what advice would you have or give to like that Black entrepreneur who's like, man, I would love to, get an investment from someone in cannabis?
I would just say first, it's real. Any business is real. It's a commitment. And I'm going to tell you what I tell my partners that aren't Black and brown. I tell them that I'm just showing you a different place where the talent is, the access is. You guys aren't used to these places. You aren't used to the people. I got you. These are my people. And they're talented, and you can use the same analytics. So I would say, be yourself, work hard, put your plan together, be honest, because, we've shined some light on some wonderful individuals that just happen to be Black and brown, just happen to serve jail time, just happen to own a company of their own. So we're very creative in the way that we work, but the analytics are the same. This is, and in no way it's a handout, in no way it's a free gimme, and we don't want that anyway in our community, because, I'm proud to say that we're helping a hand in not only bringing people in and access, but in creating generational wealth. And that's why I'm excited. I mean, we got off the call the other day, and I had to call my partner, Loretta Willis, and I started crying. I've never done that before, but it was a man that I know he's gonna, there's no way his life should put him in this. And we were just all just like, can't believe he just done it. So this is an awesome opportunity. What I would tell people is to work your butt off, give a great, make sure you thought everything through. And for those that are entrepreneurs, you know what it takes. And though for those that don't want to be an entrepreneur, that want a high paid job that's going to be around with benefits where you can send your kids to school or take care of your family, then that's why we have Cookies U as well. Because not only is it for entrepreneurs, but this is for everyday people. My father worked in a factory For 30 years, it took care of 5 kids. You can be a great employee and still take care of your family. And so for those people, that's why we have Cookies U. And you'll be trusted, you'll be in the family, and you'll always have employment within that brand. And so I'm really excited about our partners and those that stepped up and came to the table to help us.
Absolutely, man. Like they say, talent is evenly distributed, opportunity isn't, right?
Yes.
So going into your Cookies U project, which I think is beautiful, because the fact that you did it with Cookies is a message within itself, because Cookies is the culture in cannabis. I think Cookies is the perfect vehicle to show how impactful Black culture is on retail, on commerce, on everything, right? So kind of how did that project come together, and why did you choose to partner with Cookies?
I mean, you just said it, shout out to Terracin, Gage, Jason Wild, my partners, work with them as well. But Cookies, shout out to Parker, shout out to Burner. Burner's the man there, and so just as a cultivator, Burner's the superstar. So I wanted to personally meet Burner, for a while, just because, I know the time, I know what he's put in, I know what, he means to the people in his company. And so they're about this social equity. They've been doing this. They've been given access for a long time. We're bringing light to it. I didn't start Cookies U. Burner did. Parker, Burner did. And so I'm excited that we're not only working with them, but we're helping to expand all social impact brands. So we're making sure too, by Players Only, we're bringing social impact brands into these stores, because they want to make sure that they're stocking the shelves with the communities that have been impacted with some great people. And so it's definitely an educational tool, but it's also a profitable tool, because what Cookies is saying is we believe in the people. We believe in the people. We're giving access to information, to education. Here you go. Here's your opportunity. And, I'm proud, that they're my partners. Man, to everybody over there that worked in this, shout out to them, because it's been an awesome team.
Yeah, Cookies, I think they are the standard right now in how to really build and scale a cannabis company. So I wish them all of the best. Another thing I kind of wanted to pivot to is, why do you think former basketball players are finding so much success in cannabis? Because since we started this platform, we've had John Sally on, Isaiah Thomas, Al Harrington, and now yourself. And like, all of you have really passionate and distinct goals in cannabis. None of you have stricken me as men who are coming in just identifying the financial opportunity. You have an emotional attachment to what you're trying to build. So why do you think it's such this connection between NBA greats and cannabis right now?
You know what? Shout out to John Sally and his daughter. Al. Shout out everybody. I think it's a success. We've seen Isaiah Thomas, who's the CEO of the first publicly traded company. Truthfully, I've known Isaiah since I've been a teenager, and I follow everything he does in business. So he's like, how they were biting off Russell Simmons from, clothing, liquor, this and that. That's what I do to Isaiah. So anything he does, I definitely follow. But I think it's also athletes. You look at Megatron, you look at other guys, and it's because we've always been health conscious. I know there's a recreational side to it. I'm not trying to pivot or hide away from that. But you're talking about guys that take care of their bodies. You're talking about someone that still has a back problem. We get out of the game at 10 p.m., you get on the bus, you don't get to the other hotel till 3 a.m. What about sleep management? So, we've really seen the medicinal side of it and how it could help as well. And so I think you see that because we're really health conscious. And at the end of the day, each guy will tell you, it's the recreational side, but, instead of taking, I won't say a medicine, but instead of taking something that I have to take and have ulcers and have to eat and get sick of, I'd rather medicate with this. And so I think a lot of it is the fact we're very health conscious, and this has been a part of our routine, or we've just found out about it, and we're really excited to share that information with others.
Definitely, man. And I want to kind of go back to your home state of Michigan, which recently legalized. How do you think we can position cities like Detroit, cities like South Central, like where we have a heavy concentration of Black people, to get more involved? And the reason I ask you that is because now, across the deep South, states like Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee have medical programs now, and that's where Black people exist at, as well as places like Detroit. Like, what can we do locally to just get more of us into this space?
So I would say, one, each individual, it's up to each individual to take opportunities that's out there. access, empower yourself. The more information you have, the more lines of information that you have saying that you completed this, that you've done that, you become much more trustworthy. You could have lived in your community 100 years, but it doesn't matter if this trusted brand or if this business doesn't want to use your business acumen. So you have to make sure that not only you get as much information and use that community together. Second, community shouldn't support anybody they don't want there. Like, let's quit crying about it and don't support who you don't want there. If they do not put it into the community, it's up to that community to support them. I mean, communities have the power. Just like voting, we don't have to go vote. We're not talking about voting. We're talking about choosing, making the right to say, okay, no, I won't support there, or to ask questions. What have you done for Black communities? What have you done for record expungement? What have you done to help programs to help these same communities that have been ravaged, kind of by the laws of it? So I think communities have power, and we've seen it. The more and more we speak to people, and when you talk about community, it's a wonderful woman in South Central right now that is doing her. All we have to do is really support those that are out there and make sure we bring awareness to those. And a lot of it is we have to make sure the dollar stays in our community. We can go through how long our dollar stays in this community, that community, and only in our community hours or so. But we have to make conscious choices to support those from our community that are just working their butts off to grind and try to have a business.
Yeah, definitely, man. And lastly, I would want you to leave the viewers with the Cookies U information. How could they involve themselves in that? Kind of what's the timeline on that? And for our viewers who are interested in the Bay Area, how could they really immerse themselves in this opportunity?
In the Bay Area, anywhere else, just go to Cookies U. You'll go on there, you'll see information. It's so much. I mean, we have housing. These are scholarships. Not only do we have housing, if you have a child, if you're a single mother, if you're a single father, if you're a mother and a father with a young child, we have daycare. We have. We wanted to make sure that we had this for the working person. The person that has to make sure they live a life and still has to, are going out of their way to take this educational program. So just go on there. You see some really cool things. And again, shout out to Burner. Shout out to Cookies U, Amanda Parker, everybody there, because they did not have to partner with us on this. They put their money where their mouth is, and that's why I respect them. They got the best brands, they're the coolest, all of that. They're the culture, and that's dope. But no, they've been putting their money where their mouth is, and that's why I really respect them. And it's something that I hope everyone out there just go look at Cookies U and take advantage of it, because we're bringing it to your city very soon.
Man, I agree 100%. And I'm honestly just honored to have a conversation with you as someone who grew up watching your greatness. I remember in 2006 when Hip Hop is Dead came out and you had a production credit on it. I'm like, bro, how is Chris Webber just great at everything, bro? So it's an honor to even be in the same industry with you and just to continue to see you grow as an entrepreneur, man. I really genuinely appreciate the contributions you make into our culture, bro.
I appreciate it, man. Shout out to the homie. I got to do Blunt Ashes. Yeah, I made that beat, baby. I got beats for you too if you ever need them. Shout out to Digital Ventures, man.
Man, you might be the only person in the NBA Hall of Fame with a platinum production plaque, bro. You might be the only one, man.
Yeah, man.
Thank you,
it's
bro.
all love, man. Shout out, man. Appreciate you.